Alright, so hello everyone and good evening. Good evening po sa ating lahat. Welcome po sa ating live for TCRC, ayan, Online Let Review for Professional Education. Ayan. Alright, so share po tayo ng live. Ayan, so if you are here na po sa ating live session, please do share our live po sa inyo po mga kasamahan, sa inyong mga kaklase, alright, sa inyong mga kaibigan. Okay, tag them here on our FB Live and also um, share this live, no. Sharing is caring para po lahat po tayo, no, sama-sama po tayo makapasa, no, at ma-ace yun pong September 2026 board licensure examination for professional teachers. All right? Hello po everyone. Good evening. Good evening po sa ating lahat. Again, welcome po sa ating live. Please comment LPT if you're here na po, no? Comment LPT if nandito na po kayo sa ating live session para po makita natin sino na yung mga present, no? Mga ready makinig at mga top-notchers, di ba? Mga future top-notchers for our September 2026 board licensure examination for professional teachers. Ayan. So, share po tayo ng ating live. Alright? Ayan. So to start, no, to introduce everyone, I believe, no, if you are an avid fan ng Teacher Sepi, isa po ako sa mga paminsan-minsan din po nagla-live, no? So hello po everyone. I am Sir Roy Vincent V. Montenegro. Yan, your Prof. Ed lecturer for tonight, no? And we will be tackling um any topic, no, under the sun, basta under siya ng professional education. Alright? So, I'm from Batangas. So, sino ba mga taga Batangas dyan? Comment naman kayo dyan sa ating comment section, no? So, I am from Tanawan City, Batangas, no? Currently, the Gen Ed Coordinator and College Instructor po sa First Asia Institute of Technology and Humanities, and by God's grace was able to pass the September 2023 LET, with the rating of 92.1693 for professional education. Alright, so ready na po ba tayo everyone? Ready na, ready na, ready na? Sige, pa-comment po ako ng LPT kung ready na pong makinig. Lahat na magko-comment ng LPT, yun ang sure LPT ng December. Sure, top-notch, sure, mataas ang rating. So comment na po tayo dyan ng LPT para makita ko na po kung sino yung ating mga kasama for tonight. Alright? Ayan, ayan, ayan. Hello po everyone. Magandang gabi po. Ayan, so ready na po ba tayo? Ready na? I hope ready na po tayo. Alright. So, before we start nga pala, no, I was able to do the live last time, no. Nagkaroon lang kami ng problem with the connection. So, I'm using the same slides, no. So, we are done already with questions 1 to 50. Alright. So, if you haven't seen that, you can go back po sa TCRC Facebook page. Natapos po natin yung numbers 1 to 30, no, sa last live po natin under professional education. Ito po, yung live natin for tonight is continuation po. Ano? So we will be having I prepared until number 95, so we have 60 70. 65. Yeah, 65 questions for 2 hours. So hanggang 9 p.m. po tayo. Alright? So again, flash ko lang mabilis yung ano, no, yung ating 1 to 30. You can review this sa atin pong last live lecture under Prof. Ed. So we will continue po ng number 30. Alright? Kamusta naman po ang everyone? No? So before we start nga pala, no, if you haven't followed our page, pa-follow naman po Teacher Sepi. And if you are looking, no, habol pa, no, mahaba-haba pa yung time. If you are looking for a review center, no, very very affordable lang po kay Teacher Sepi, no. Talagang less than 1,000. Enrolled ka na with Prof. Ed, Gen Ed, and Major. Ayan. Live na live po tayo, Ma'am Amina. Hello. Ayan. So, good evening everyone. All right? So, again, we will be starting with number 31. All right? So, and please do share po again, pa-share po ng ating live. Pakitag po ng inyong mga friends. Ano po, para mas marami tayo, mas masaya po. At mas maraming matututo. Okay? All right. Number 31. Jacob Kunin's concept of wittedness in classroom management refers to a teacher's ability to A. Maintain awareness of everything happening in all parts of the classroom at all times. B. Transition smoothly between instructional activities. C. Handle multiple classroom events simultaneously. Or D. Keep students continuously engaged in learning tasks. So what's the answer for number 31? Ano pag sinabi na, ay yung teacher ay may with itness, no? Ano nga yung term natin doon sa Filipino pag sa with itness? Ano nga Filipino translation natin siyan? Pag with itness, ibig sabihin may mata sa likod, no? May mata sa likod. So, ibig sabihin po, si teacher ay very aware, no? Lang lahat po na nangyayari sa parts ng classroom. Alright? So, yun po ang ibig sabihin natin ng with itness. Alright? Sige, let's proceed to ayan, number 32. For a while lang po. I will wait lang po ha. I will be resharing. Meron, hindi lang nag-work sa ano ko. For a while lang po. Okay. Teka lang po. Ayun. Okay, ayan. So, for number 32 naman po tayo. Ayan. Teacher James notices the two students whispering during a lecture. Instead of stopping the lesson, ang ginawa po ni Teacher James, he moves and stands directly near their desks while continuing to speak. No? What management technique is he using? Is it A, direct verbal reprimand, B, signal interference, C, proximity control, or D, time out? Sige, ano po ang sagot natin for question number 32? Ang gulo nung dalawa, no? So, ang ginawa ni teacher, lumapit, nilapitan, sabi. Pero walang sinasabi pala, no? Tuloy-tuloy lang si teacher sa pag-lesson. Alright, very good. Ang tawag po natin dun is proximity control. When we say proximity control, meron pong certain distance, physical distance, usually mas malapit para yung estudyante, parang mahiya siya, ang lapit na ng teacher, no? So, it's like it's to off-task a student, no? To somehow parang extinguish, no? Or pigilan, no? Yung misbehavior nang hindi mo siya directly pinagsasabihan, no? Sometimes nag-work, alright? Number 33. According to Cantor's assertive discipline model, an assertive teacher is one who, according to kay Cantor's assertive discipline, ano bang ibig sabihin pag si teacher daw ay assertive? No? Is it A, the teacher demands strict obedience through severe physical or verbal punishment? B, expresses clear, firm expectations and it forces consistent consequences calmly? C, allows students complete freedom to avoid conflicts? Or D, reacts unpredictably based on personal emotional state? Ano po sabi? Very assertive yung teacher namin. Siya ba yung sobrang strict na grabe yung physical tsaka verbal punishment pag nagkamali ka? O siya yung very firm, very following, very consistent in terms of consequences? O siya yung, sige, kayo na, bahala na kayo dyan. No? O siya yung hindi mo malaman kung nagjo-joke pa ba to or seryoso na ba si teacher? Alright, very good po tayo. Pag sinabi nating assertive, we are emphasizing on clear boundaries, no? Clear boundaries, day one pa lang, alam mo na agad na si teacher, mabait siya, pero strict din siya, na may clear boundaries sa kanya, no? In-express niya yung expectation niya, no? Very clear, sinasabi niya, I expect you to be like this, like that, I expect your submissions to be like this and like that, no? Predictable siya. Bakit? Kasi very clear siya on the rules, no? Kaya very predictable. And of course, consistent reinforcement. Ibig sabihin, kahit hindi siya galit, kahit malungkot siya, kahit masaya siya, if you didn't follow the rule, if you didn't follow yung kanyang guidelines, may punishment. No? So, yes, somehow authoritative, no? But si assertive kasi, hindi siya nagpapadala with emotions, no? Very by the book siya. By the book meaning kung ano yung naset niyang standards, kung ano yung naset niyang rules, yun yung ifa-follow nyo for the whole year or whole semester, no? May kilala ba kayo mga ganitong teachers or baka naman kayo, 'di ba? Baka ganito kayo teacher, which is actually good, no? For me, ako medyo tinatry ko maging ganito, no? I'm not saying na ganito ako, but ito yung gusto kong maging type of teacher. I want to be someone assertive, no? Someone na I will congratulate you, I will praise you if you deserve it, but I will not, parang I will not tolerate if you didn't follow the standard or if below minimum yung mga pinapasa mo, di ba? So, that's a good way, no? Para hindi rin tayo sobrang close sa estudyante, no? Tama ba? Kasi sometimes, hindi naman sa nambabash tayo, pero most teachers ngayon sobrang close sa estudyante. Sometimes nawawala yung boundaries natin. Tama ba? So, perfect balance lang na you get along with them, but you set standards and boundaries, no? Kung hanggang saan lang sila pwede. Alright? So, yun po yung assertive teacher na tinatawag. Alright? Proceed tayo kay number 34, which class assessment result distribution indicates that the majority of students performs exceptionally well on a test. No? Anong daw tawag doon sa distribution niya kung saan halos lahat ang tataas ng score. Magaganda ang performance. Ang ganda ng scores nila. Mahusay ang performance nila. Ano kaya ang ibig sabihin nun? Is it negatively skewed? Positively skewed? Normal bell curve ba siya? Or may bimodal distribution? Sige nga po, maganda ang performance, no? Ang ganda ng scores. Okay? Negative ba? Sure ba tayo sa negative? Puro letter A yung answer. Are we sure? Negatively skewed pag mataas ang performance? Sure na ba tayo dyan? Okay, may chance magpalit ng tanong, ang sagot. Alright, so may mga hindi talaga nagpalit ng sagot and congratulations. Tama po kayo, negatively skewed po talaga. Okay? So ibig sabihin, ng negatively skewed, clustered yung scores doon sa high end. Matataas yung score nila. Nasa high end yung scores nila, indicating maganda yung overall performance. Alright? Tandaan na lang natin, pag sinabing negatively skewed, isulat, negatively skewed, letter N, nice. Diba? Nice ang scores. So, tataas, nice. So, okay? Pag sinabi namang positively skewed, letter P, poor ang performance. Pangit ang performance. So, kaya mababa yung mga scores naman. Okay? So, yun po yung tandaan natin. Pag normal curve, of course, pag sinabing normal curve, marami yung nakakuha ng average score, konti yung nakakuha ng sobrang baba, konti rin yung nakakuha ng sobrang taas. Pag naman bimodal distribution, ibig sabihin ng bimodal distribution, dalawa yung peak. Possible, sobrang dami rin nakakuha ng mababa, marami rin makakuha ng mataas. Halos nagpantay sila. So, ang tawag doon, bimodal distribution. It's either medyo, medyo problematic, I would say, yung exam kasi maraming nakakuha ng mababang grade, marami din naman makuha ng mataas na grade kasi dalawa nga yung peak na nakita natin, no? Tapos konti lang yung average yung scores, no? So, possible problematic yung exam or possible yung room na yon, yung class na yon, sobrang half ay magagaling talaga, like super galing, half ay hindi talaga performing, no? Kaya possible nagkaroon ng tinatawag nating bimodal distribution. Alright? Number 35. If a test item has a difficulty index of 0.15, how should the item be interpreted? A, the item is very easy. B, the item is moderately difficult. C, the item is very difficult. Or D, the item has high discrimination capacity. Sige nga po, what's the answer for number 35? O, pag sinabi difficulty index, no, it is a number indicating how many percent of the students answered that correctly. No? So, ibig sabihin, yung value na ibibigay, yun ang percent ng mga tao o mga estudyanteng tumama. Ang sabi, 0.15% lang yung tumama. Sobrang unti nang tumama at tama kayo. Okay? The answer is letter C. So, ang difficulty index ng atin pong number 35 ay 1. Kasi 100% tumama sa inyo. Kasi lahat kayo, letter C ang sagot. Alright, that's correct. Very difficult po yung item na yon. Alright? Next, number 36. Which measure of central tendency is most affected by extreme scores or outliers in a dataset? Pag daw po may sobrang layong score, halimbawa ang mga score nila around ano lang no, around 80 to 85, ikaw 70 ka, o yung isa 99, sobrang layo niya dun sa usual scores na meron. Ngayon, ano daw pong measure ng central tendency ang pinaka-affected? Alright, that's correct po. The answer is letter C, mean. A question. Sir, paano yun? Eh, yung data ko ang daming outliers. Hindi ko siya pwedeng tanggalin. Ano po ang gagamitin natin? Sige nga, palagay po sa comment section. Hindi pwede yung mean, no? Kasi ang daming outliers. Maapektuhan yung ating scores or yung average. Ano pong measure of central tendency ang best alternative kapag po marami tayong outliers? Sige nga, palagay nga dyan sa comment section. Ang daming outliers. So, we will be using, okay, yung sagot ng iba, median. Tama po. No, median po gagamitin natin pag madaming outliers. Alright? Next, number 37. Which Philippine law is known as the Governance of Basic Education Act of 2001, which formally renamed DEX, or the Department of Education, Culture, and Sports, to DepEd, or Department of Education, and institutionalized school-based management? O ito medyo remembering kailangan sa ulo natin. Ano po kayang batas daw iyon? Yung Governance of Basic Education Act of 2001. Sige nga po, ano po kaya yon? Alright, most of you are correct. The answer po is letter A, Republic Act 9155, no? Si RA 9155, siya yung nag-redefine, no? Paano ba i-govern ang isang school? Basically, a basic education school. Alright? So, also, siya yung nagpalit din ng DEX to DepEd, and siya po yung nag-empower o nagbigay ng power dito sa mga school heads kung tawagin, or mga tinatawag nating principal, no? Na sila yung magiging heads at sila yung mainly, no, usually most of the time will make decisions for the school, no, through the school-based management. Alright? Ano po yung RA 7836? Sige nga. Ano po yung RA 7836? Sino po nakakaalam ng RA 7836? Palagay nga po dyan. How about RA 10533? Sige, kung ano pong law ang alam nyo sa mga ito, palagay nga po dyan sa comment section. Tsaka RA 4670. O, ano po yung ibang law na naiwan natin dyan? Can someone tell me ano kaya yung law na yan? Sige po, lagay nyo lang po dyan sa ating comment section. Okay, pag sinabi natin RA 7836, yan po yung Professionalization Act. Na, tama ba? Pag sabi Professionalization Act, siya yung nagsabi na, okay, magiging professional ang teacher, magkakaroon siya ng licensure examination. Tama? 7836. Yun po, Professionalization Act. No? RA 10533, ipag-plus-plus nga natin. 1 plus 0 plus 5 plus 3 plus 3. Ang sagot ay 12. Kasi siya po ay K to 12. Siya po yung Enhanced Basic Education Curriculum, no? So yung K to 12 curriculum. And tama po kayo, the 4670 is the Magna Carta for public school teachers, no? Very important, hindi lang pwedeng Magna Carta, no? Magna Carta for public school teachers. O bakit? Kasi automatic, hindi po sakop yan ang private school teachers. Hindi po sakop niyan ang college teachers. Kasi for public school teachers lang siya. Alright? Let's proceed po with question number 38. Nabanggit natin kanina. Alam niyo na siguro ito. RA 10533, which officially instituted the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013, is commonly known as, ito na pala, no, nasa next question para siya. So very easy lang. This is the K to 12 law. Alright? So yun nga, yung Professionalization Act of 1994, that is the RA ano nga to? 4670, no? And then Magna Carta ay 4670 pala Magna Carta, 7836 ang professionalization. Nalito na rin. Ano? So yan si RA 10533, siya yung nagpalawak, no, na yung basic education daw dapat simula hanggang K to 12 at nag-add ng 2 years, which is senior high school. And ako po, no, si Coach Roy ay first batch. Kaway-kaway, sino mga first batch or second batch dyan? Ako first batch po ako ng K to 12 curriculum. Okay? Alright. Next tayo. Under the Republic Act 4670, or again, what you call the Magna Carta for public school teachers, what is the maximum number of hours of actual classroom teaching required per day for public school teachers? Ilang oras daw po ba dapat? A, 5 hours, B, 8 hours, C, 6 hours, or D, 10 hours? Ilang oras po ba dapat si teacher? Yung second batch, si Ma'am Amina. Alright, for number 39, very important, guguhitan natin, classroom teaching. Alright, so tama po kayo. Pag sinabing classroom teaching, 6 hours. Saan po yung 2 hours? Sige nga, palagay nga po ako dyan sa comment section para saan po yung 2 hours. Ito po ay maximum ha. Take note. It doesn't mean na kailangan 6 talaga, no? Pag naswertehan, baka 5 lang or 4 yung isang teacher. But this is the maximum. Hindi pwedeng lumagpas ng 6 hours, no? And that's correct. The 2 hours will be for checking and other administrative tasks, no? Though binawasan na siya ng kaunti dahil may mga AO na tayo, administrative officer, no? But yun nga, si 2 hours siguro for checking, tama, for teaching preparations na po ni teacher. Ano? Sige po. Let's proceed to question number 40. According to Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers, what should a teacher do if a parent offers a valuable financial gift in exchange for increasing a student's passing grade? Napakadali nito. Ma'am, baka naman yung aking anak, ano po, meron po ako ibibigay sa inyong singsing. Yan po ay gawa sa gold. Anong gagawin kaya natin as teachers? In reality, anong gagawin natin? In reality, tatanggapin natin. Pero hindi dapat kapalit ha. Siyempre kung pag may nagbigay sa atin, di ba ba, pag Teacher's Day, di ba, or birthday ni teacher, magbibigay talaga ng gift. And syempre, tinatanggap natin yun bilang teachers. Pero, no, pero, kung sakali man na may hinihinging kapalit, no, si parents, syempre, we should politely decline the gift, no, and explain natin na dapat yung grading objective and merit-based, na. Angel tayo syempre pag board exam, no. Pero sa totoo, tinatanggap naman talaga natin. Pero hindi kapalit ng grade, no. Take note, hindi pwede kapalit ng grade. Pero pag may mga gift, tanggapin natin, no. So, in reality, no, may mga ibang nangyayari dyan, no. Hindi ko alam kung may experience kayo, pero so far ako naman wala experience na ganyan. Pero usually, gift lang talaga ni parent, no? Okay, sige, before we proceed to number 41, we are done with 10 items, no? Can I see your score out of 10? Sige, palagay nga po ako ng mga scores nyo out of 10. Diyan po sa ating comment section. Yes, without a bait na teacher, not after the salary, no? Kasi it's our dream, no? Huwag nating isalaalang-alang ang ating pong lisensya para lamang po sa isang simple gift. 10 out of 10 na ba tayo? Alright, so very good. No more than 5 lang. Ang daming naka-perfect. Or 1 or 2 mistakes, no? Yung mga may mistake, natuto naman po. Nakakasabay naman po, no? So kahit nagkamali, natuto. While yung mga naka-perfect, no? Ang dami. Kita-kita. Ibig sabihin talagang nag-review na, no? Talagang nakapag-aral na. Talaga bang, ano ba tawag dito? Ready na, no? For the board examination. Alright? Alright, sige po. Maraming salamat sa mga nag-chat. Again, please continue to share our live. Okay lang po ba? Pa-share po ng ating live session. Tag your friends, no? And then, of course, if you are enjoying our lecture, if you're enjoying our live, definitely 100%, no? Mag-enjoy din kayo sa lectures talaga under Teacher Sepi Review Center, no? So, I think mamaya si Teacher Sepi mag-chat dyan sa comment section regarding the price range. Pero I think for only 600 pesos, meron na kayong Gen Ed and Prof Ed lecture. Imagine, Gen Ed and Prof Ed for 600 pesos. And if you want to have your specialization, may mga BSE ba? Comment nga yung mga BSE dyan, 300 pesos lang po for majorship, no? Ako po ay lecturer sa math. No, may mga math major ba diyan? Hello po. Isa po ako sa mga nagle-lecture sa math majorship, no? Ayan, so gusto po ng mga blessings, pabaon, ayan, i-PM nyo lang po ang Teacher Sepe Facebook page. Malay mo, no, mabigyan kayo ng grasya ng mga pabaon for the board examination. Yes po, meron po tayong TLE, yes, under AFA. Tama ba? AFA is under TLE, no? Yes, kasama na po specialization, 900 po. No? Pero if you want na specialization lang, 300 pesos po. Pag specialization lang. Pagkasama na agad na Gen Ed Prof Ed, 900 total. Combo na yon, lahat na po ng Gen Ed, Prof Ed at Major. No? So perfect na perfect. Kasama na po yun hanggang final coaching. Kasama na po yun, no? Hanggang final coaching, no? And hindi lang po ako, napakarami po namin coaches, lahat mga top-notchers and high-raters. Kaya definitely, no, imposibleng bumagsak pa kayo sa board exam pag nakinig kayo at natuto kayo sa lahat ng lectures namin ng inyong mga coaches under ng Teacher Sepe Review Center. Yes po, may values education po. Pwede rin po kayong I think Teacher Sepe meron ding values ed, no? Pero PM na lang din po kayo if you want, no, para may mga blessings na ibigay sa inyo si Teacher Sepe, and of course, if you want to avail the lecture up until the final coaching. All right? Sige po, tuloy na po ulit tayo with question number 41. Pursuant to RA 7836 or the Philippine Teachers Professionalization Act of 1994, professional teachers are required to obtain a valid license administered by which regulatory body? Ito, very easy. Bonus question. Pag nakita nyo ito sa board exam, syempre, imposible magkabali pa tayo. That is letter B, Professional Regulation Commission. Yes po, teacher aerialism, meron po tayong TLE. Pag major, Sir Wakay, we have 300 pesos only. Yes po, Sir Jacinto, may BPE din po tayo. Mga top-notcher coaches din po, ayan. Okay, may mga math majors ba dyan? Hello, hello. May mga kasamahan ba ka dito math majors? Isa po ako sa mga nagle-lecture for math major specialization. Alright? Oh, very easy lang sa number 41. Pag nakita nyo sa board exam, bonus agad to, no? 42. Under RA 10627, which of the following is required for our public and private elementary and secondary schools? Is it A, installing CCTV in every classroom? B, formulating and implementing explicit anti-bullying policies? C, hiring a full-time police officer on school grounds? Or D, expelling any student accused of bullying on the first offense? Ano ba yung RA 10627 or 10627? Si RA 10627 po, it mandates na lahat dapat po, no, ng basic education schools, private or public, basta po under ng DepEd Basic Education, dapat po ay merong comprehensive anti-bullying policies, no? So yan po ay letter B, dapat po meron talaga mga polisiya tungkol sa bullying. Alright, so that's number 4. Tandaan, pag 10627, anti-bullying policies po ang ini-implement natin sa mga schools. Alright? Number 43. Which legal mandate guarantees free, compulsory public education in the elementary and high school levels in the Philippines? Ano pong legal mandate yun? Is it the 1987 Philippine Constitution, the Code of Ethics, RA 7836, Section 2, Depth Order Number 42? O, very specific yan, no? Talaga nakalagay yung article or yung section or yung number. Saan po nakalagay? Na dapat daw po ang elementarya ay libre at compulsory. Tama ba? Si elementarya po, required. Dapat lahat ng Pilipino makapagtapos ng elementary at libre po sa ating mga public schools, no? Si high school, kung di ako nagkakamali, tama ba? Free high school education, no? Though hindi pa siya compulsory. Pero si high school ay free lang din po, of course, through public high schools, no? The correct answer po ay nakastate po yan sa Article 14 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution. Okay? Nakalagay po doon sa Article 14, Section 2 ng 1987 Constitution, free public education in elementary and high school levels, no? Article 14, Section 2 of 1987 Constitution, free public education in elementary and high school levels, no? Okay? Proceed tayo ngayon kay number 44. If a professional teacher engages in continuous unprofessional conduct, gross incompetence, or immoral behavior, what action may the Board for Professional Teachers take? A. Permanent imprisonment. B. Revocation or suspension of the teacher's professional license or the certificate of recognition. C. Imposing community service. Or D. Reassigning the teacher to another region. Kaya bang ipakulong ng Board for Professional Teachers? Actually, hindi, no? Ang power ni Board for Professional Teachers, since sila rin po ang nagbibigay sa atin ng lisensya, na for sure makukuha na po nating lahat no by December, may karapatan din po silang bawiin at i-revoke ang atin pong license pag po meron tayong gross incompetence, immoral conduct, and ethical violations. Right? So letter B po yan. Number 45. What is the primary objective of continuing professional development or CPD for teachers under RA 10912? O tandaan, pag CPD, RA 10912. A. To raise monthly salaries automatically every year. B. To replace initial LET examination requirements. C. To allow teachers to transition into non-teaching government positions. Or D. To continuously enhance professional competencies throughout a teacher's career. O syempre, ano yung pinakamagandang sagot? Ano yung pinakamabait na sagot? No? Syempre, that's letter D, no? Dapat naman, dapat totoo to, dapat sinusunod natin na bilang teachers po, ang goal po natin, kaya po tayo nagtitake ng mga CPD units ay para saan? Para ma-enhance po yung professional competencies, no? Para po ma-update tayo ng knowledge, mag-update ng kaalaman tungkol sa trends, no? And of course, to maintain high professional standards, no? Yung iba kasi, no, ayoko sabihin, ako kasi hindi ako ganito, no? Confident ako dyan. Yung iba kasi, kailangan lang mag-renew. Ay, kailangan ko ng pamparank. Ay, kailangan ko ng points. Kaya kailangan umatand ng mga CPD units. Ako po, ang mga natanhan ko minsan hindi pa CPD accredited. But I really wanted to learn and update my knowledge, no, in terms of different trends in education. So kaya kailangan, ang goal po natin for CPD is to really learn, no, and to really enhance and develop our skills. Right? Alright, number 46 po tayo. The wide acceptance of bottom-up management style has influenced schools to practice which management practice? A. Prescription of what ought to be done from the central office. B. Exclusion of politicians from the pool of guest speakers during graduation exercises. C. Involvement of students, parents, teachers, and community in school planning. Or D. Allowing schools to do what they think is best. Ano po pag sinabi nating bottom-up management style? O imagine niyo, simula bottom, pataas. Simula baba, pataas. Ibig sabihin po, kino-consider po natin ang alin po? Okay, very good. Kino-consider natin ano ba ang kailangan ng mga estudyante? Ano ba ang mga interes ng mga estudyante? Ano ba ang sa tingin ng mga magulang ay maganda para sa kanilang mga anak? Ano ba ang pananaw ng mga teachers? Ano ba ang pananaw ng komunidad? No? Hindi lang po lagi nanggagaling sa top-down naman yung kabaliktaran, no? Na from the top management, no? From DepEd, from national government, bababa lang sa mga schools, hindi naman nila alam kung ano nangyayari, no? Doon sa baba, sa ground, no? So actually, ang tawag din dito, we called it the grassroots approach. Kasi from the ground galing yung mga feedback, yung insight, no? Galing sa mga estudyante, galing sa mga teachers, sa parents, sa community, no? Kanino kaya to? Sa curriculum, sa idea ng, ito kasi about management practice, no? Pero pag under ng curriculum, pag ang curriculum ay grassroots approach, kanino po ito usually associated? Ayan, nabanggit na ng ating isa sa mga reviewee sa no? Very good. Kay Hilda Taba. O yan, no? Pag sinabi natin, dito lang po, kino-connect ko lang, no? Kasi this is about management. But in terms of curriculum, Hilda Taba po yan, no? Yun pong grassroots approach, no? How about top-down approach sa curriculum? Kanino galing yon? Top-down approach. Na you start with the school mission, vision, and then from that, tsaka mo gagawin yung mga learning experiences, tsaka mo i-assess, yan. Pag naman po top-down approach, yun naman po ay kay Ralph Tyler. No? Ralph Tyler naman po yun. Alright? So, yun nga, pag sabi bottom-up, grassroots approach, pero ang tanong, nagagawa ba siya? Napapakinggan ba ang mga estudyante? Napapakinggan ba ang mga teachers? Napapakinggan ba? Hindi natin sure. No? Hindi tayo sure kung talaga bang napapakinggan. Pero dapat, no? Dapat pinapakinggan ang hinaing ng mga estudyante, ng mga teachers, no? Lalo na tayo ng mga teachers, at of course, ng community. No? Ayan. So sa mga gusto po mag-avail, ayan, sa mga interested po mag-avail ng ating mga pabaon blessings, PM nyo lang po kay Teacher Sepi for as low as 900 pesos, Gen Ed Prof Ed Major. Pag Gen Ed Prof Ed, 600. Pag Major, 300. Alright? So kaya po, PM nyo lang po si Teacher Sepi, no, if you are liking, no, yung session natin. For sure, mas magugustuhan nyo pag ang nag-coach na po sa inyo, yung mga top-notcher coaches natin. Alright? All right, let's proceed to number 47. For number 47, in the desire to make schools perform, the DepEd then published the ranking of schools in NAT, or the National Achievement Test, results nationwide. As an effect of this practice, what did schools tend to do, no? Siyempre gusto ng mga schools makita yung pangalan nila doon. So ang ginawa ni DepEd, ipopost ko lahat ng top schools. Kaya galingan nyo. So anong ginawa ng mga schools? A, taught at the expense of NAT. 2, to conduct review classes for NAT at the expense of teaching. C, practice the so-called teaching to the test. Is it A, B, C, or D? Ano pong ginawa? Number 47. Is it 2 and 3, 2, 1 and 3, or 3 only? Okay, let's see. The correct answer po ay 2 and 3. Na? Bakit? Of course, no? Dahil gusto nilang ma-rank, no? Ma-recognize publicly. Yung mga schools, they tend to what? To prioritizing test scores through drills, no? So, itong mga estudyante ngayon, they are tend to memorize the test content. They are teaching to the test. Ito yung we are teaching for the test, not for learning, no? And ngayon, yung regular instructional time, yung dapat ginugugol nila sa pag tuturo, no, nung dapat ituro nila, yung dapat po ay time para aralin ang standard curriculum, ano pong ginagawa natin? Nagtuturo tayo ng NAT para sa NAT. No? Hindi natin masisisi yung mga teachers. Bakit? Kasi minsan yan ay mandate from the principal. O hindi mo naman masisisi yung principal kasi minsan mandate yan from what? From the division office. Kahit na schools yung mga nirarank din yung mga division. So ang school division talagang magpa-practice kayo, magpa-drill kayo, di ba? Ganyan din siya. No? So actually from the management niya talaga siya galing, no? Hindi natin na-realize na if we follow the standard curriculum, if we teach what is intended on the curriculum, hindi natin need i-review sila for NAT, no? Kasi kaya nilang sagutan yon on their own. Okay? Okay, next. Number 48. The large class size in congested cities is a common problem in our public school system. Which stopgap measures has or have the schools taken? Number 1, the deployment of more teachers. 2, the implementation of 1:1 pupil textbook ratio. 3, the conduct of morning and afternoon sessions. So sa tingin nyo, ano ang naging resulta? Kasi dumadami na yung mga class size. Isa na yung problem ng mga public school, actually even private schools, no? So ano yung nangyari? Nag-deploy ba sila maraming teachers? Dumami ba ang item, no? Meron bang 1:1 pupil to textbook ratio? Meron na bang mga shifting na nangyayari? Okay? Alright, so the correct answer po for this is actually letter C, 3 lang po, 3 only. Bakit? Wala tayong super evidence, no, na nag-deploy sa na maraming teacher dahil lang maraming estudyante. 'Di ba? Hindi naman dumami ang items. I don't think dumami ang items, no? Obviously, hindi po nangyari yung 1:1 pupil textbook ratio. I don't know, pero napapanood niyo ba yung TikTok ni nakalimutan ko yun, yung isa sa mga famous din na teacher, TikTok creator na sila from the public schools ay umaasa pa ngayon sa mga private publishing company para bigyan sila ng material for the new curriculum, no? Si Teacher Carla, I think, no? Na wala silang textbooks, no? Kailangan pang humiram ng material mula sa ano no, sa private, sa Rex, no, to be specific, no. And ang totoo lang po dito, wala naging solusyon kung hindi shifting of classes, no? Nagkaroon ng double shift, morning and afternoon sessions para lang ma-address na yung kakulangan sa physical spaces, kakulangan sa rooms, kakulangan sa buildings, kakulangan sa teachers ay mangyari. We all know that this is just a band-aid solution. Tama ba? Band-aid lang to. Kasi, di ba, dumami ang estudyante. Ano ba dapat ang solusyon? Hindi solusyon ang shifting. No? Tama ba? Kayo rin ba, no, nung estudyante, naabot niyo ba yung time na hindi naman shifting? Whole day tayong nasa school, whole day tayong nag-aaral. Di ba? So, dapat ang solusyon, bigyan ng maraming facilities, bigyan ng maraming rooms, bigyan ng maraming buildings, at, no, of course, maglagay ng mga bagong teachers. Alright? So, gets po ba natin yon? Let's proceed to question number 49. Ayan, at least po natututo tayo. Let's proceed to 49. What does the acronym EFA imply to schools? A. Practice of inclusive education. 2. The stress on the superiority of formal education over that of non-formal. 3. The acceptance of exclusive schools for boys or for girls. 4. The promotion of alternative learning system. Sige, bago niyo po sagutan, ano po ibig sabihin ng EFA? Palagay nga mo muna dyan sa comment section. Sige, palagay po muna kay comment section, ano po ba ang ibig sabihin ng EFA? Ay, may mga sagot na yung iba. That's correct, no? Ano po ba ibig sabihin ng EFA? When sa EFA, very good. It means education for all. Edukasyon para sa lahat. So, ang goal po ni education for all is to provide or to grant hindi lang po education, hindi basic education, to grant quality basic education to all individuals, no? Without discrimination, without driving schools to integrate inclusive education for diverse learners, no? And also, dito rin po nagsimula or na-open, of course, yung atin pong alternative learning systems or ALS para sa mga non-formal learners natin. So the correct answer po is letter D, no? Inclusive education and yung ALS or ALS po natin. Alright? Next, number 50. Dito po, mag-charge lang po ako ng mabilis. Alright, for number 50, which conclusion can be derived from the case of teacher described below? So, si teacher po ay lone teacher in a standalone remote multi-grade school. O, multi-grade, ibig sabihin, sa isang classroom, iba-ibang grade level, no? And then, the school head, no, siya yung school head, siya yung generalist teacher for all subjects. Siya rin yung janitor, siya na rin yung secretary, siya na rin yung nurse. 'Di ba? Lahat na siya. Siya na yung guidance, siya na yung ano, lahat na siya ang gumawa, no. So, ano po kaya ang conclusion mo derive natin dito? A, the geographical location of a school has influence on the role of a teacher. B, a teacher of a remote school has more problems than that one in an urban setting. C, a remote school cannot perform as well as a central school. Or D, a multi-grade school is an indicator of a lack of budget for education. Geographical location. Geographical ba ang nagdidikta ng role ng teacher? Dahil ba walang budget? Alright. So the correct answer po actually here is letter... Okay, letter A. Ay, sorry. Letter A po dapat to. Mali ang aking... Ay, wait lang for a while. Na E-flash. Wait lang po. Ayan, that's correct po. Letter A po siya. Bakit? Kasi po tandaan natin, no, yung physical, no, yung nangyayaring physical na isolation or physical remoteness ng isang lugar ang nangdidikta ngayon kung bakit kulang ng auxiliary staff. Bakit wala auxiliary staff? Wala man lang sa kantin, wala man lang janitor o wala man lang secretary, administrative staff, no? So si teacher ngayon walang magawa. Ang dami niya ngayong role. Okay? Ayan. Yes, I'm a BTS fan. Nakita niyo pala. Okay. So for number 50 po, the correct answer is letter A po, yung geographical location. Alright? Ayan, nangyayari yan usually talaga sa remote areas. Nakakalungkot dahil hindi pa rin maabot no, ng tulog ng gobyerno itong mga lugar na ito. Yes, no, nakakalungkot lalo na sa mga indigenous communities na from grade 1 to grade 6 sa yung teacher, I can't imagine, no? Na sobrang hirap at nakakalungkot na hindi nasusuportahan ng maayos ng gobyerno itong mga ganito na sila lalo yung mas nangangailangan. Sila lalo yung mas kailangan ng tulong kaya dapat sila yung mas pagtuunan ng pansin. Ano po? So kasi realidad ito, 'di ba? As you can see, meron tayong co-teacher na or kasamahan dito sa live no na-experience yun. Kasi mahirap talaga siya and nakakalungkot na may realidad na nangyayaring ganito, no? So hoping no na bumoto po tayo ng tama. Ayan, nag-plug na no. Bumoto po tayo ng tama para ang mamuno po sa atin ay tama at hopefully ma-address kahit pa paano yun pong mga concern at mga problema natin sa lipunan. Isa na po tayo, yung sector po natin, sa totoo lang, no, konting rant lang na yung sector po natin ang pinaka nangangailangan ng tulong at pinaka nanganganib, no, at for me, pinakamahalaga na sektor na kailangan pagtuunan ng pansin ng government, which is education po talaga, no? So, bumoto po tayo ng tama, okay? Sige nga pa comment ng LPT kung bumoto ng tama. Bumoto po tayo ng tamang mga politician, no? Yung may serbisyo po sa atin. So, pa-comment ng LPT nga kung boboto na po ng tama this coming elections. LPT, lahat ng boboto ng tama, pa-comment ng LPT. Alright. So we're done with 41 to 50. Sige, sa set 2 natin ng 10 items. Pa-comment po ng inyong score. 1 to 10 lang. Yung simula 41 hanggang 50. Sige, ano pong score nyo from 41 to 50? 10 out of 10 ba tayo? 9 out of 10? 8 out of 10? 7 out of 10? O yan ha, lahat po ng LPT, inaasahan kong boboto ng tama, no? Alright, ilan na pong score na natin? From 41 to 50. Okay, 10 out of 10, perfect. Ano yung mga perfect sa ating mga teachers? Very good. Ibig sabihin, indicator na parang ready na mag-take ng board exam. Alright? Okay, may 9, may 8. Alright, very good po. Very good everyone, no? Proceed tayo with question number 51. 51, which of the following best illustrates how political decisions and government policies influence schools as agents of change? O, yun, saktong-sakto, no? So, political decision and government policy nakaka-impluwensya sa schools as agent of change. 1, the introduction of mandated subjects such as Rizal in the curriculum. 2, the turnover of daycare centers from DSWD to DepEd for supervision. 3, the use of group work to promote student collaboration. And 4, the adoption of peer tutoring to improve academic performance. O, tingnan na mabuti. Government policies, political decision, na kung paano po ito nakaka-apekto sa mga school. Alam mo natin, ang schools ay tinatawag pong agents of change. Alright, sige po, ano po ang sagot natin? Okay. So, may mga items po talaga ganito, no? Kasi sunod-sunod yung items ko na ganyan. Na one, may 1, 2, 3, 4. No? So, madalas may mga ganyan talaga sa Prof Ed specially talaga yan. Okay, the correct answer po is, of course, letter A. No? Yan po ay mga example ng legislative mandates. No? Ang Rizal Law po ay isang legislative mandate. No? Minandato ng Senado, ng Kongreso na kailangang ituro ang Rizal sa college. No? Yung executive governance reorganization, nagkaroon ng reorganization o yung mga childhood care, mga daycare, ipasa na si DepEd kasi sila yung mga teacher talaga. No? Pinapakita po nito na yung political influence talaga po ay nagbabago, no, at nakakaapekto sa school curricula and kung paano po patakbuhin ang education sector. Tama po? Alright, that's letter A. Let's proceed to number 52. In a Muslim area, what should the teacher do to respect the religious practices of her students when teaching a lesson on cooking adobo? A. She excludes pork from her adobo lesson. B. She leads the class in a prayer before meals before they partake of the cooked adobo. C. She exempts the Muslim children from the lesson on cooking adobo. Or D. She differentiates the task for the boys from the girls. O, sa isa daw pong Muslim area, no, paano daw po maipapakita ni teacher yung respeto sa mga religious practices, no? Pag nagtuturo po, for example, TLE, kaway-kaway po sa mga TLE majors dyan, kung paano magluto daw ng adobo. Alright, very good po. No? Siyempre, i-exclude, no? Huwag po nating isama yung lesson on, wag po isama yung pork. No? Huwag naman po natin tanggalin yung bata sa lesson kasi lesson pa rin yan. Kailangan nilang matutuhan yan. Pero, syempre, hanap tayo ng alternative. Di ba? Ang adobo naman, hindi lang naman siya pork. Pwedeng gawing chicken, teacher. Para naturo niya pa rin yung lesson. But at the same time, no, respecting cultural and religious beliefs, no? Kasi required kasi yan, no? Required kasi siya ng sensitivity, no? So pag isang predominantly Muslim environment, so syempre bawal ang pork, no? Kaya pwedeng i-modify ni teacher yung kanyang lesson. All right? Let's proceed to number 53. For what main reason are the schools as change agents advised to offer courses that industries need? Ano daw po ang main reason para itong si school, no, mag-offer ng mga courses or mag-offer ng mga lessons na kailangan ng mga industry? In short, halimbawa, kailangan ng industry ng mga skilled na magaling mag-welding. O ngayon si schools mag-offer ng mga welding classes. Si industries, kailangan ng mga estudyanteng magaling mag-communicate. Ngayon, ang curriculum nagbago, heavy emphasis on communication. 'Di ba? Pag po naka-focus tayo on the industry's needs, no, we are looking at what aspect, at what reason? Very good po, economic. Alright? Economic aspect po siya, no? If we align our educational offerings or courses or subjects with industry requirements, no, it will ensure, no, may assurance na employability kasi may skills silang nakuha to be employed, tama? And it also drives the productivity of a workforce kasi maalam yung mga graduates, no? And moving forward, no, na maging okay yung company, maging okay yung workforce, of course, it will foster in the later, sa paglawak ng tingin natin, it will foster national economic development. Tama? So, yun siya. No? Yes, o nakalagay useless lang talaga yung program kung di kailangan ng industries, no? Depende din, no? May mga programs kasi talaga na may specific industries na pupuntahan. Lahat naman po ng programs may pupuntahang industriya. Ang problem lang po natin dito, dun ba sa area natin, for example, relevant ba itong programang ito, no? Pero as long as gusto mo naman siya, no? At nasa puso mo talaga yung program, wala namang problema po iyon. Tama? Alright. Sige, let's proceed to question number 54. For more efficient and effective management of schools as agents of change, one proposal for the DepEd to do is to cluster remote standalone schools under one lead school head. Which factor has the strongest influence on this proposal? Is it political, psychological, historical, or geographical? Ay, remote yung mga schools. O, isa na lang yung school head dyan ha. Kasi maliliit naman yung schools. Kaya naman yung i-cluster. Kaya naman yung pamunuan ng isang school head. O, ano pong sagot natin kay number 54? Alright, that's correct po. Geographical, no? Yung clustering na tinatawag, no? Clustering, it is designed talaga to address yung mga tinatawag nating geographic isolation and spatial distribution kung saan hiwa-hiwala yung schools na maliliit, no? Tapos pinagsasama-sama na lang siya, no? Ni-unify siya under one administrative leadership. No? Again, may remote. No? Pag may remote, geographical. Alright? Number 55. Widespread abuse of Mother Earth promoted schools to teach sustainable development. Which one does this prove about schools? A. Environmental factors influence the school as an agent of change. B. Schools can easily integrate sustainable development in their curriculum. C. The curriculum of schools are centered on Mother Earth. Or D. Sustainable development cannot be effectively taught in the classrooms. Ano po kaya sagot kay number 55? Again, now, widespread abuse of Mother Earth prompted schools to teach sustainable development. Ano daw po ang pinapatunayan nito? Anyone? What's your answer? All right, that's correct po, no? Letter A, no? When real-world environmental crisis, no? Pag meron mga environmental crisis, no? It drives our schools to update the curricula, no? I-update siya, ipakita, no? Or i-integrate natin yung environmental realities, no? Yung environmental protection, no? And it directly shapes the mission of each school, no? So kasi nga, again, itong environmental factors ito, nakaka-apekto yan sa mga schools. So kaya kailangan ituro yung environmental protection. Lalo na ngayon, ngayon, panahon ng baha, 'di ba? Alam natin kung gaano kaimportante ang promotion of sustainable development and of course, taking care of our mother nature, na? So ayan. Guys, very very quick lang, no. I will be posting number 56. Health break lang tayo ng very very mga 2 minutes lang to 3 minutes. Health break lang ng very very quick, no. So you can go to see. Alright, ayan, we're back. Hello everyone. Ayan. So, nagbabalik na po ulit tayo sa ating live session. Ayan. So, thank you so much sa mga nag-antay. Ayan. Nawalan lang ng internet so na-remove ako sa StreamYard and then I had to go back again. Buti bumalik agad yung internet namin. So, hindi naman ako katulad ng inyong mga ex, ng inyong mga, ng mga ka-situationship nyo, no? Naiiwan din kayo. Pero babalik po ako, ayan. So, bumalik po ako, guys. Hello po, everyone. Magandang gabi po ulit. Alright. Oh, grabe, ang dami agad nag-drama doon sa ating comment section. Ang dami agad nag-relapse, no? Nung nawala ako, no? So, sorry na, guys. Ayan na, bumalik na po ako. Ayan, so, balik na po tayo with question number 56. Ano po? Your class has several IP or indigenous people, IP children. Which one will facilitate pupils' learning? Okay? Ayan, alam kayo mag-antay. Thank you so much naman. All right. So letter A, make the IP children feel proud of themselves. B, group the class permanently by ethnic region or origin. C, stress the idea that IP children are different from the rest. Or D, make the class feel that more is expected from non-IP children. Of course, no? Ano ba yung pinaka-tama dito, no? Letter A, no? So, promoting a positive parang self-identity sa kanila, no? And then, dapat very proud sila in terms of their culture. And then, i-boost yung kanilang self-esteem, no? Engagement, no? mas matututo ng maayos itong mga IP children na tinatawag. Alright? Ayan. So, yan. Sana all bumalik. Yes, babalik po ako, guys. Okay, mag-alala. Alright. Sige, let's proceed to number 57. Ilang items po today? Kinapos ako ng 5 items. So, hanggang 95 tayo. Hanggang 100 siya dapat. Pero, kinapos ako ng 5 items. So, until 95 po. Hopefully, yun ang goal natin. Matapos until number 95. Okay? Ayan. So, hello po. Ayan, hello po sa ating mga IP, no, nanonood po ng ating live, no. So, continue po, no, to express, no, and nurture your culture. All right? So, number 57, Teacher Nenita discourages her students to watch TV excessively. The average student spends about 24 hours watching television in a week. According to research, how is learning affected by extensive TV viewing? A. Shorter attention span. B. Enhanced creativity. C. Improved thinking ability. Or D. Improved communication skills. Of course, no, shorter attention span, no? Yung sobrang excessive and passive screen exposure is actually consistently, no, linked with educational psychology research na sinasabi na uh, nare-reduce yung kanilang sustained attention span and may mga difficulty na sila in terms of focusing. No? Kaya tayo mga teachers, nag-iisip tayo ng mga iba't ibang strategies or ways para mas maging interactive kasi mga bata ang bilis maboryo, ang bilis mabore, no? Ang bilis ang tawag dito, ang bilis maiba yung attention nila, yung focus nila. Alright? Number 58. The failure of independent study with most Filipino students may be attributed to students. O, ibig sabihin, yung mga Filipino students daw, medyo hirap sila or may failure sila in terms of independent study. Ibig sabihin, nahihirapan sila mag-aral on their own. O, bakit kaya? Ano kaya? Saan kaya pwedeng i-attribute ito? A. High degree of independence. B. High degree of dependence on authority. C. Unpreparedness for schooling. Or D. Ambivalence. Bakit kaya bakit kaya hirap na hirap ang mga bata mag-independent study? Sir, paano po mag-join sa September review? If nakapag-file na po kayo for September at mag-take po kayo for September 2026, PM nyo lang po ang page na ito, Teacher Sepi. PM nyo lang po ang page para po makapag-inquire kayo. 600 pesos po tayo for general education and professional education. And of course, 300 pesos naman for majorship or specialization. Alright? At yung mga pabaon na yan, kasama na hanggang final coaching po doon. Alright? Okay, most of your answers, actually parang iba, may mga iba na ang sagot, no? But the correct answer po is letter B. Most of you correct yung answer, letter B, no? High degree of dependence on authority. No? Kaya nga ako minsan, by the way, I teach in college po, no? And alam naman natin, I don't know if in the same case kayo, no? Pag college, mas malaki na yung percentage mo dyan ng independent study as compared sa teaching talaga ni teacher. Siyempre, nagtuturo naman po ako. Baka sabihin nyo, hindi ako nagtuturo. Nagtuturo naman ako. But the responsibility talaga, no, the responsibility of learning, the responsibility of teaching ay mas malaki ang percentage ng estudyante. Kasi pag basic education, gets ko pa, no, sa basic education, medyo malaki pa yung responsibility ni teacher, no, as provider ng learning. Pero dapat pag high school, binabawasan na natin. Para sa college kasi usually, hirap na hirap sila mag-independent study, no? Kasi nasanay sila na, tama po, spoon feeding, nasa spoon feed sila ng information na hindi na sila maalam mag-independent. Super reliant na sila sa sinabi ni teacher. Super reliant sa nasa libro. No? They are not doing extensive research. 'Di ba? So kapag college medyo nahihirapan sila kasi I tend to have after my discussion and there are certain lessons na dinidiscuss sa college na I give them independent study, I give them research work, no? Pina-practice ko yun sa kanila kasi especially pag nag-masters sila, sino po mga nagbabalak mag-masters diyan, talagang 100% ang responsibility ng pagkatuto ay nasa estudyante na. no? Kasi pag ako I believe, no, this is my opinion, on college, no, I would say mga 70% niyan dapat ang responsibilidad ay estudyante. Yung learning, 70% of that responsibility ay ni student. 30% responsibility ni teacher. No? And then pag masters na 100% na yan. So dapat pag high school 50-50, no? 50% responsibilidad ni estudyante, 50% responsibilidad ni teacher. No, so sana i-practice natin siya kasi ang dami mga batang hirap magbasa man lang ng research. Hirap na mag-aral on their own. No? So medyo alarming din siya. Na? Number 59, with an increasing variety of family situations, may mga iba't iba ng ganap, drama, and types of family situations, no? A teacher needs to A. Be careful not to inadvertently offend some students. B. Encourage students to improve their family situations. C. Assume that all students want to know a variety of family situations. Or D. Broaden students' realization of different learning styles. So, syempre, ang mga modern classrooms po, yung mga tao dyan, yung mga estudyante natin, no? Diverse yung mga household structure. When I say diverse household structure, ibig sabihin po niyan, may mga single parents, okay? May mga single parent, may mga OFW, di ba? Yung iba guardians yung nagbabantay, yung iba blended family, no? So si teacher, dapat po ay tama naman si letter D, no? Different learning style. Pero connected ba siya dun sa problem? Tingnan ba yung problem? Ang problem, increasing variety of family situation, a teacher needs to. Parang hindi nagko-connect na family situation tapos different learning style, no? So hindi siya tugma. Okay? Dapat po si teacher careful na hindi po makapag-offend ng ibang estudyante. Okay? Again, sabi ko nga kanina, meron ng diverse household structures. May mga single parents o FW, mga guardians, di ba? Mga single lang talaga, mga sila nagpapaaral sa sarili nila. So dapat si teacher po, no? Si teacher po ay required na mag-exercise ng inclusivity, no? Ng classroom language and activities na inclusive for everyone, na hindi nakaka-offend for everyone. Alright? O, hindi porke mukha siyang tama, yun na yung kailangan magtugma yung tanong at yung sagot. Alright? So that's letter A. Number 16, the adoption of a national language by the 1987 Constitution is designed primarily to A. Do away with colonial mentality. B. Officially adopt Tagalog as a national language. C. Facilitate communication among diverse linguistic groups. Or D. Counteract elitism. Bakit daw kaya inadopt ng Philippines sa 1987 Constitution ang national language? Bakit kailangan may national language? Bakit pinopromote ang national language? Basahin po ng mabuti. Bakit po inadopt, no? Again, ginawa yung national language, no? Primarily to Sure na ba tayo dyan sa ating mga sagot? The correct answer po ay letter C po, no? Pag kasi meron tayong common national language, pag nagkaroon tayo ng national language, it will serve as a unifying medium. No? It will serve as a universal understanding, no? In order for us to have clear interaction, no? Understanding, and of course, cohesion, no? Sa mga iba't ibang linguistically diverse archipelago. Kasi maraming iba-ibang language. So ginawa si national language para magkaintindihan. That's correct po. Ano? Para magkaunawaan po tayo. Kasi sobrang diverse ng ating linguistic dito, yung sa Philippines, 'di ba? Sobrang daming languages, dialects, 'di ba? So kailangan may isa na mauunawaan nating lahat, 'di ba? Ako hindi man ako nagbibisaya, hindi ako nag-Ilocano, pero nauunawaan niyo ko. Kasi ako ay nagfi-Filipino, 'di ba? So kasi it's a common language na at least we all understand, no? Same with English, no? National language po natin. Sige nga, patype nga ako sa comment section para konting gen ed ano lang. Ano po ang ating national language? Sige nga po. Ano po ang national language natin? Sige nga po, ano ang national language ng Philippines? National po ha, national. Okay, pag national, very good. Filipino lang po ha, Filipino. Paano pag official? Okay? Pag national language, Filipino. Pag official language, ano pag official language? Pag official language, English and Filipino. Okay? Again, pag national language, Filipino, letter F, Filipino. Pag po official language, English and Filipino. English at Filipino. Alright? So, yan po. Next, number 61. What is the most effective way of modeling high social and academic expectations for all? If you want to show or to model social and academic expectations, how can we effectively show that? A, explain the need for teachers to have high expectations. B, encourage internal and external stakeholders to articulate their expectations of the school. C, demonstrate shared communications to high academic and social expectation. Or D, issue a list of guidelines on how to achieve high performance. What's our answer? All right. Of course, for number 61, that is letter C, no? If we are consistently demonstrating and consistently communicating yung mga standards natin sa araw-araw nating interaction, no? Magkakaroon siya tinatawag nating actionable model kasi lagi mo siyang kino-communicate. Lagi mo siyang pinapakita. So, it's an actionable model for all members na i-follow yon, no? Lahat ng members ng educational community, it will follow, no? They will model that, no? Or they will see that as an example, no? So that's number 61. Okay, number 62. Ito ulit yung mga 1, 2, 3, 4, no? What characterize a school as a learning community? O, ano daw po? Ano ba nagka-characterize isang school as a learning community? 1, shared mission, vision, goals, and values. 2, focused on co-curricular activities. 3, commitment to continuous improvement. 4, centralized governance. 5, collective inquiry into best practices. Sige nga po, alin dyan ang nagka-characterize ng school as a learning community? Ang strategy po sa ganito, kung di nyo alam yung nagka-characterize, baka alam mo yung hindi nagka-characterize, di ba? Pag kinancel mo yung mga hindi nagka-characterize, may iyon yung mga nagka-characterize, right? So, let's see ano pong sagot natin for number 62. Alright, most of you answered letter D. That's correct. No? When sabing D, again, shared mission vision, commitment to continuous improvement, tsaka collective inquiry. No? So, pag po may tinatawag tayong mga professional learning community, a school as an example, it's a professional learning community, dapat po, defined sila by a shared values and a mission. Di ba? Dapat iisa yung mission and vision nila. No? Tapos dapat sila ay tuloy-tuloy lang sa improvement, no? Commitment to improve. And dapat, syempre, gusto nilang ma-improve yung mga practices, yung mga teaching strategies, mga teaching methodologies, dapat open sila on that matter. Alright, that's letter D. Number 63, schools aiming to boost student learning work on a/an blank culture. Again, boost student learning work. Okay? A, collaborative. B, indigenous. Collaborative culture, indigenous culture, ethnic culture, or authoritarian culture. Pag gusto natin ng student learning work, i-boost yung student learning work. Alright, very good. Collaborative, no? If collaborative siya, no, may mga shared strategies, teamwork, na these factors, no, yung collaboration, teamwork, sharing of best practices, no, these are actually related, no, in improving our instruction, improving our teaching and learning process, and as well as improving the student outcomes. Tama? So, very important ang collaboration. Next, number 64. What is the best meaning of collaboration in schools? A, it's support. It is support for the beginning teachers. B, it is identifying mentors among the experienced teachers. C, it is working interdependently to analyze professional practice. Or D, it is working independently to determine the impact of practice. Ano po kaya ang sagot kay number 64? Paano pag sinabing collaboration? Hmm? Dapat medyo X na agad si letter D, no? Kasi nakalagay independently. Kanya-kanya ba? Para bang 1, 2, 3, go, kanya-kanya na. Ganun ba tayo pag sinabi natin collaboration? O, so, syempre, tanggal na agad si letter D, ha? Tanggal na po. So, para lang ba siya sa mga beginning teachers? So, hindi din, no? Hindi din si letter A. Sige po, ano po kayang sagot natin? So, kanya-kanya na ba tayo? That's correct. No? Dapat po ay working interdependently. Okay? Pag sinabi natin true educational collaboration, it involves teachers, tayo po mga teachers and also administrative staff working interdependently. Ibig sabihin, we are collaborating. Yung kasi yun, interdependent tayo with each other. Hindi siya iba yung dependent sa interdependent, no? So dependent tayo, interdependent tayo in terms of evaluating yung mga instructional strategies, no? Ano yung mga maganda at pangit, no? Na-share ng teacher niya na pangit to or magandang strategy to, so magkakaroon kayo ng sharing of best practices, no? You can also assess student data, no? And you try to refine your professional performance kasi nga you are working interdependently. You are collaborating with everyone. All right? That's number 64. All right? Number 65 tayo. Which of these statements is the most effective way of communicating the vision mission statement of the school? A. Share vision mission among stakeholders. B. Form committees to develop and or revise the vision mission statement. C. Align activities, program, and projects to the school mission vision. Or D. Memorize the vision mission statement. Paano daw ba natin, no? Paano natin maipapahatid? Paano natin mamamaterialize? Paano natin mako-communicate? Paano natin ma-demonstrate yung vision, mission statement ng school? Siyempre, i-align natin. Dapat lahat ng activities natin, lahat ng mga programs natin, lahat ng project natin naka-align dun sa mission, vision. In that way, no, napapakita natin ano ba yung mission vision and translating this as well to achieving, 'di ba? Achieving the mission of the school, of the institution. Okay? Kasi yung vision mission mas nagiging meaningful siya pag operationalized. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Pag operationalized kasi ang mission vision, yung vague, hindi man vague, yung medyo abstract pa or yung mga declaration ng school na abstract pa, ay pwede nating ma-translate into something manageable, actionable, meaningful, tulad na nabanggit dyan, no? ng mga project, programs, and activities. Alright? That's number 65. Number 66. Which of the following is not a principle of sustainable development? A. Living according to each personal attitude and lifestyle. B. Conservation of the Earth's vitality and diversity. C. Respect and care for the community of life. Or D. Improvement of quality of life. Very easy lang to. Alright, wait lang. Para mali yung na-type kong key. Wait lang ha. For a while, for a while. Alright. Ano daw po? Careful ha. Careful. Tingnan po na mabuti ang ating question. Alright, very good. The correct answer po is of course letter A, no? Na lang, kumbaga ay selfish sa letter A, na? Kasi po sa sustainable development, aalagaan natin yung Earth's vitality, yung buhay at diversity ng Earth, no? May respect at care tayo sa community of life, no? Ibig sabihin, pag pinangalagaan kasi natin yung Earth, di ba? Ibig sabihin nun, mas may matitirahan pa, may makukuha pa, at meron pang aabutan yung next generation. No? And if nangyari yon, we can improve the quality of life. No? Kasi pag sinabing sustainable development, dapat po may responsible collective stewardship. No? Na tinatawag. Tsaka yung tinatawag nating ecological mindfulness. O isulat po, ecological mindfulness na syempre sobrang layo, contrasting kay letter A na nabubuhay lang tayo sa personal preference natin or convenience po natin. Okay? Alright, number 67. Naku, ang haba. Basahin natin. In 1990, a congressional commission to review and assess Philippine education, otherwise known as the EDCOM, was created by a joint resolution of Congress. What are the two principal reasons given by EDCOM for the declining quality of Philippine education? O very napapanahon. Kahit na 1990 pa lang ito na-establish, pero 'di ba recently ay buhay po ulit at talagang very actively working si EDCOM in addressing the problems in our quality in our education system, no? A, the country is not investing enough in the education system and the education establishment is poorly managed. B, good teachers leave the country and the curriculum is crowded. C, the number of OSY is increasing, no? And when OSY, out of school youth, no? And the teachers' salaries and benefits are not enough. Or D, funds are spent not for the purpose they are intended and strict bureaucratic procedures are imposed. Kung papansin nyo, lahat naman ito ay problema. Tama ba? Lahat ay problema, no? Hindi na namamanage yung mga establishment, mga magaling teacher na alis ng bansa, crowded, namin tinuturo, yung number of out of school youth dumadami, yung salary at benefit kakaunti, hindi ginagamit sa tama yung pondo, 'di ba? Strict bureaucratic procedures ay dapat i-impose, but all of these are correct, no? But we should go back to the question. Ano daw po ang rason ni EDCOM, based sa research ni EDCOM, kung bakit nahina yung quality education natin? Alright, sige. Ano pong sagot natin? Alright, most of you are correct. Letter A po. Hindi po tayo sobrang nag-i-invest sa education system, no? Yes, pinakamalaking budget ang nakukuha ni education, but hindi siya na-invest sa tama, no? At yung mga establishment natin poorly managed, no? Try to look at the public schools sa Korea, public schools sa Singapore, sa America, sa Norway, sa ibang bansa, no? Ang gaganda ng public schools nila. Because, yes, they have a lot of budget, but they are investing it correctly. No? And may management na nag-oversee nitong mga ito. Diba? So, yun po yung pinaka-main na naging reason kung bakit nag-decline po yung quality ng Philippine education. In short, gobyerno ang problema natin. Tama ba? No? Sorry, medyo talaga kasi ako, medyo may inis, no? Lately talaga. Hindi man lately, for the past year sa government. No? Kaya, um, you may not agree with me, no? Hindi nyo po kailangan mag-agree with me. But, kaya ayoko talaga mag-work sa government or sa DepEd, no? I mean, as much as we wanted to teach the children, the students, I can do that on a different way na hindi naman kailangan sa DepEd ako to do that, no? I am doing that sa pwesto ko nasa ano ko ngayon, no? So, yun. Yeah, konting sharing lang kasi yun nga, wala akong DepEd dream talaga. Anyway, this is not about me, this is about you. So, proceed na po tayo sa review with number 68. Number 68, when enrollment is small in the rural elementary schools, 2 or 3 grade levels are combined in a blank class taught by one teacher. O, naturo ko na to kanina. Ano pong sagot natin dito? Is it special class, multicultural class, multi-grade class, or indigenous class? Actually, tama, no? Sadyang, I know, marami sa atin yung nawawalan ng pag-asa, but I hope balikan natin yung reason bakit ba tayo nag-teacher. Bakit ba natin pinangarap maging teacher? And that is to inspire others, to teach children, no? At hopefully to spark change. And sana, hindi man sa DepEd, magawa din natin yung mga bagay na iyon, no? Yes, especially sa mga nangyayaring incident ngayon, grabe, no? Grabe yung mga nangyayaring incident ngayon sa schools, no? Schools should be the safe place of the students. Unfortunately, for the past months, no, medyo hindi maganda yung mga lumalabas na balita. And I hope, no, hindi po ito kasalanan ng teachers, no? Ito po ay shared problem ng lahat ng stakeholders sa school, and gawin natin yung best natin, no, to make the school a safe place and parang yun nga, a place na home talaga for the students, no? Okay, so that is, grabe naman yung LPT, lilipat papuntang Thailand. Okay. Well, unfortunately, no, ang ganda ng mga klase, ang ganda ng mga benefits talaga outside the country. Going back now with number 68, tama po kayo, multi-grade classes po, no? When I say multi-grade teaching, it is an administrative strategy na ginagamit po natin para sa mga low enrollment rural areas, no? Kung saan yung isang teacher, unfortunately, handles multiple grade levels in a single classroom setup. Gaano kahirap yon? I can't imagine how challenging and how hard is that, no? Sobrang hirap. And um, nakakalungkot, no, na hindi rin sobrang equipped or hindi rin sobrang compensated ng mga teachers na assigned sa mga ganitong classes, no? All right, number 69 po tayo. Which is the most essential characteristic of a total quality school model, no? When we say total quality school model, ano yung pinakamahalagang characteristic niya? Is it A, clientele focused, B, empowerment, C, involvement of stakeholders, or D, continuous improvement? O, pag sinabing total quality school model, ano po ang pinaka-essential part or characteristic niya? Ano yung main principle? No, ang main principle ng total quality school model or the TQM, okay, is continuous improvement. All right? The total quality management model, no, or school model, it actually centers around the principle of continuous improvement. No, this is under Kaizen, no? Meaning across all institutional processes, across institutional standards, we are aiming for continuous improvement. Hindi lang po sa teaching, pati sa mga services na ino-offer ng institution, we are aiming, the TQM is aiming for the principle of continuous improvement. Okay? Number 70. Which of the following interventions reduces stigma between social status and social selection in the educational system? O, alin daw dito ang nagre-reduce ng stigma, no, sa social status and social selection? Sige nga, ano po kaya ang sagot natin kay number 70? O, palagyan ako ng number 70. Again, na interventions. O, clue na yun, ha? following interventions reduces the stigma between social status and social selection in the educational system. Okay, I get that most of you answered letter B. Test taking tip. Tingnan nyo po kung ano ang tinatanong. Alright? Ang tinatanong po ay intervention. Ang EFA, your Education for All, is mandated on the Constitution. It is not an intervention. It's the principle that every school should follow. No? When we say intervention, may nangyayaring problem, gawin natin to para mabawasan yung stigma sa social, when say social status, para maiwasan yung stigma na ay pag mga, sorry for the word, no, ito lang ay for the sake of the discussion, no, disclaimer, no, para hindi maiwasan yung ay pag mga mahihirap sa ano yan, sa public school yan, pag medyo mayaman may kaya ka, o sige mag private school ka. 'Di ba? May gano'n, no? May gano'n siya. Ngayon, ginawa itong intervention na ito para maiwasan 'yon. Ano 'yon? Ginawa po yung tinatawag nating ESC or the Education Service Contracting Scheme, no? ESC, familiar ba kayo doon? Yung ESC po ay nag-offer ng financial assistance or what we call voucher, kung tinatawag natin, sa mga students na mula sa low-income families para po para makapasok po sila sa private high school, no? Para ma-bridge po natin yung social equity gaps and expanding access, no? O para sa mga bago po, ang ESC po, kasi ako ay ESC grantee din before, no? So, pag high school po kayo, syempre, ang nangyayari po kasi kaya po ginawa sa ESC, yes, tama po yung 17,500. Pero hindi lang yan, hindi lang po siya for senior high school, for junior high school din. Kasi po, sobrang congested na po ng ating mga public high schools. Totoo o hindi? 'Di ba? Very congested, sobrang dami ng estudyante. So ngayon, si DepEd at si government, umisip sila ng paraan para mapunta yung ibang estudyante sa private high school para ma-bridge yung social equity gap na pag mahirap ka sa public ka, pag mayaman ka, private ka. 'Di ba? So, ginawa nila yun para ma-decongest slowly yung public high schools at mapunta yung iba sa private schools. Ano po ang ginawa? Nag-offer sila ng voucher. So, from grade 7, may ESC na po na tinatawag, ESC, no, na grant or na assistance or na voucher na kung saan may discount po from I think this is from PAYAC, no, I'm not sure, in connection with DepEd, para po bigyan ng assistance itong mga to para makapag-aral sila sa public school at natuloy po siya hanggang sa senior high school. Kaya 'di ba minsan yung mga private schools ang mumura na ng senior high. Bakit? Kasi may offer na assistance si DepEd. 'Di ba? Yung 17,500 pag galing ka ng public high school, public junior high school at 14,500 if galing ka naman sa private high school. No? So, ayun po. Clear po tayo kay number 70, no? Na nalinawan po yung ating mga ating mga LPTs. Alright? Sige po. Next, proceed tayo kay number 71. A public school teacher is ordered to transfer to another school but believes the transfer is unjustified. What should the teacher do? Ano magagawin niya pag nilipat ka ng principal mo, ng school head mo, pero feeling mo pinersonal ka or parang hindi naman na-justify kung bakit ka kailangang ilipat? Dapat ba mag-refuse ka sa transfer? Let's letter A. Letter B, mag-appeal ka ba sa proper process? C, mag-resign at mag-apply ka sa original school? Or D, ignore the order until the next school year? O syempre, no? Kailangan po maging mabait tayo. Mabait na teacher, proper procedure, due process. Gets? O, very easy lang po kay number 71. Kasi ganito po lumalabas sa letter sa totoong buhay, no? May mga senaryo, anong gagawin mo bilang teacher? Kasi that's how we are going to measure, no? Paano ba dapat umact ang isang professional teacher, na? Number 72. A teacher accused of misconduct is immediately suspended without being informed of the evidence or given an opportunity to respond. What principle is violated? O kakabanggit ko lang. Very easy lang po ulit tayo kay question number 72. Sabi may ginawang masama si teacher. Hindi man lang na-inform na ano yung naging mga evidences, hindi mo lang na-inform sa mga dapat gawin at mangyari. Ano na po ang na-violate? Siyempre, very good po tayo, walang due process. Walang disciplinary proceedings. No? Ito kailangan natin maunawaan. Ang due process po ay hindi lang po para sa mga inosenteng naakusahan. No? Binigay po ng batas natin na dapat lahat po, no, guilty man o hindi, no, itatag natin sila as guilty or not guilty pag nag-undergo ng due process, no? Kaya as much as I want na magkaroon na ng magandang resulta itong impeachment trial na nangyayari, no? But it is the due process. Kailangan nating dumaan sa proseso para masabi natin na ang isang tao ay talaga may kasalanan or wala, no? Kahit na harap-harapan, no? Harap-harapan alam natin may kasalanan, required po at karapatan niya po ang due process. Okay? Next, number 73. A teacher refuses to discuss a controversial historical issue because it conflicts with the teacher's personal belief. Ay, hindi ko di-discuss to kasi mali to. Hindi ako naniniwala dito based sa kanyang personal belief. Ano daw po ang best professional response? A. Avoid all controversial topics. B. Require students to accept the teacher's position. C. Facilitate evidence-based discussion while maintaining professional responsibility. Or D. Allow students to decide whether the topic is appropriate. Siyempre, pag nasa curriculum, kapag kailangan pong ituturo po natin. So letter C, ayan, mali pa ang lagay ng arrow. Letter C po yan ha. Baka sabihin nyo, baka nalilito si sir, baka B or letter C. Hindi, letter C po yan, no? Na mali lang ang lagay. So ibig sabihin, dapat po magdi-discuss pa rin tayo. Pero based on evidence, para hindi tayo magmukhang, ano po yan? Para hindi magmukhang blank. Kailangan may evidence para hindi tayo magmukhang biased. Para hindi tayo magmukhang may kinikilingan kahit meron naman talaga, in reality, ganyan talaga. Kailangan evidence-based. No? Para hindi lang siya opinion. It's based on research. It's based on evidence. No? Hindi mawawala yan sa ating klase na we want to express our own opinions and our own insights and beliefs. Kahit ako, ngayon, habang nagkaklase sa inyo, di ba, I share some of my insights and beliefs and perspectives. But it should be evidence-based. No? Empirical, sabi nga dyan sa ating comment section. Okay? Alright. Ang sagot po sa 72 ay, ito po, letter C po, due process. Okay? Alright, 74. A teacher argues that, mother tongue must automatically be used as the medium of instruction from kindergarten to grade 3 because RA 10533 requires it. What is the best response under current law? Again, si teacher daw, hindi. Automatic mother tongue. Kasi sabi sa RA 10533, totoo naman, sabi sa RA 10533, kailangan mother tongue tayo simula kinder hanggang grade 3. Pero ano daw po ang tamang response under the current law? Is it A, correct siya? RA 10533 has never been amended. B, incorrect. RA 12027 changed the mandatory MTB provision. C, correct. Only private schools are exempted. D, incorrect. Mother tongue is completely prohibited. Automatic yung C at D, no? Parang maling-mali naman masyado. Hindi exempted ng private schools at ang mother tongue po ay hindi pinagbabawal. But, ano po kaya? Alright, most of you are correct. Letter B, no? Do tama po tayo, no? According to RA 10533 or the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013, dapat pong gamitin si mother tongue from kindergarten to grade 3. However, si RA 12027 of 2024, no, amended this policy by discontinuing the mandatory use of the mother tongue. Again, take note, discontinuing the mandatory use. Ibig sabihin, hindi na po siya nire-require na maging medium of instruction from kinder to grade 3. Ibig sabihin mo nun, bawal na, hindi po bawal. No? hindi lang po siya required, hindi lang po siya mandatory. Okay po? Pero pwede pa din naman na mag-mother tongue po tayo, gamitin ang mother tongue. No? However, hindi na po siya nire-require ng government or ng batas po natin. Okay? According to RA 12027. Okay? Let's proceed to question number 75. A teacher transfers to another public school without being informed of the reason for the transfer. Ito medyo redundant to kayo na, so medyo mabilis na to, no? So which protection under RA 4670 is most relevant, no? O konting singit ko na lang din. So ba't parang umulit naman yung number 75? Actually, on the actual board examination, baka ka-encounter, sana hindi, no? Pero ang daming cases na umuulit yung items. Hindi naman siya word per word. Tulad dito, hindi naman siya word per word na umulit. Pero almost the same idea. Same thought talaga. So, expect nyo, sana may ganun sa inyo para sure point na agad, di ba? But, yeah, may mga times sa board exam, Gen Ed, Prof Ed, or Major, may mga umuulit na items na almost same idea. No? So, tama po kayo, right to due process. No? So, according to RA 4670 or the Magna Carta for Public School Teachers, dapat po ay meron tayong protection against arbitrary transfer. No? Again, every public school teacher should have protection against arbitrary transfer. Ibig sabihin, a teacher should not be transferred without justification, without proper justification and procedural safeguards. No, na baka naman hindi naman sure ang niya pagpunta or hindi naman safe ang pagpunta niya doon, no? Dapat po transferred with reason, no? So dapat may due process. 76, a principal says teachers must follow every directive exactly because school heads have complete authority. Which law provides the strongest counter argument? Is it A, RA 4670, B, RA 7836, C, RA 9155, or D, RA 10627? O, sabi ng principal, dapat sundin nyo lahat ng sinasabi ko kasi ang school heads ang may complete authority. Ano daw pong law ang nagsasabi, ang nagpo-provide ng strongest counter argument? Sige nga, tingnan natin kung may makakatama. Okay, the correct answer for this one po is letter C, RA 9155. Ano nga po yung RA 9155? It is the Governance of Basic Education Act of 2001. Diba, aside sa siya yung naglipat ng mga DEX to DepEd and so on and so forth, siya rin po yung nag-establish ng school-based management kung saan sinasabi, makinig, sinasabi po dyan that school heads have authority and accountability in managing schools. Again, sabi din po doon sa SBM under RA 1955, ang mga school head po ang may authority at accountability sa pagmamanage ng school. No? Pero, sabi rin po, yung authority na yon ay hindi absolute. Bakit? Kasi dapat daw po, according sa batas, ang school governance or ang pamamahala sa school ay shared governance. Ibig sabihin ng shared governance, dapat pa yung responsibility, decision-making ay distributed sa iba't ibang level of education system. Therefore, dapat po, no, walang complete authority. No? Hindi siya complete and absolute authority. No? Dapat po, si school ay ano pa rin po, or si school head po ay ano pa rin, in constant collaboration. Yes, may limitations yung authority ni school head. No? So, yun po ang sagot natin. Okay? Next, number 77. A school policy, DepEd law din po yun ha, naging from DEX, naging DepEd. Huwag po kayo malilito. Kasama lang po dun sa RA na yun, 9155, yung school-based management, yung rules ng school heads as well sa pag-manage ng school. Na kasama po under ng batas na yun. Okay? Number 77, a school policy conflicts with a later national law. May policy na sa school, 3 years na for example, biglang nag-conflict kasi may biglang pinatupad na batas after 3 years. Sabi ni principal, gamitin pa rin ang older policy kasi nasa school handbook siya. What should prevail? A, the older school policy, B, the teacher's preference, C, the later controlling law, or D, the majority faculty opinion. Ano po dapat ang mananaig? Number 77, yun bang batas na policy na sa school, na matagal ng policy, or yung kakabago lang na approved na batas? Ano kaya tamang sagot? The correct answer po is letter... Okay, it's letter C, the later controlling law. Okay, tandaan natin, ang school handbook, no, or mga internal policy sa loob ng school cannot and can never, no, override a national law. National law na yun eh, no? So we cannot supersede or override that one, no? If merong existing policy na conflict doon, no, dapat yung law ang mag-prevail. Mas mataas 'yon kasi batas 'yon, no? Very good po. Ignorance of the law excuses no one, no? Dapat po yung mga internal school policies are always subordinate, no? The applicable national laws and regulations. Okay? Next, number 78. After learning, medyo dami discussion about management, batas and all. Balik tayo sa teaching learning, no? After learning how to calculate percentage discounts, a student correctly applies the same concept to determine tax and service charges. This is best described as, is it negative, positive, zero, or vertical transfer? Ano pong type of transfer of learning ito? Yung maalam siya mag-compute ng percentage sa mga discount. Ang ginawa ni student, ginamit niya yon, learning na yon, para alamin kung paano mag-compute ng tax or paano mag-compute ng service charges. Okay, very good. The correct answer po is, of course, letter B, positive transfer. Paano po nangyayari si positive transfer? Pakisulat po, pakitake note. It occurs pag po yung learning, no, learning natin ay nai-apply natin, okay, na-perform natin sa new but related situation. Isulat. Nagamit natin yung previous learning sa isang bago, new, but related situation. Nakuha? Gets po natin yon. Ano po yung negative transfer? Ang negative transfer, pag yung learning natin naka-interfere sa new learning, yung previous learning natin, naharang siya or nagulo siya dahil sa new learning natin. Gets ba? Previous learning interferes with new learning. That's the negative transfer. Okay? Pag sinabi natin zero transfer, hindi nakatulong yung previous learning mo sa task na ginagawa mo. Zero transfer yon, no? Pag sinabing vertical transfer naman, same level lang kasi vertical no? Almost the same level, same hierarchy, no? Mas complex lang, pero hindi siya technically yung best description for this one. Tawag dito positive transfer. Okay? How about number 79, transfer ulit tayo. A student accustomed to solving equations from left to right incorrectly applies the same procedure when simplifying an algebraic expression. This illustrates, nakita no, nakasagabal yung idea niya on solving equations sa pagsisimplify ng algebraic expression. Ano po yung nangyari? No? Positive transfer, negative transfer, lateral transfer, or near transfer. Every night po bang may live? Sabi dito sa ating comment section. We're not sure. Para po makasure kayo tuwing may live, please follow our page. I-follow po ang Facebook page ng Teacher Sepi para ma-notify po kayo every time na may live session. No? So tomorrow po may live po ulit ako pero general education naman tayo. Okay? So tomorrow po 'yun for ah mga gantong oras din po. Okay? Alright. O last number tayo, number 80 kasi time na po tayo, no? Mag 2 hours na tayo, no? So last number tayo, number 80. Sorry, ang tagot pala dito is negative transfer. Tama kayo kasi ah nangyayari siya pag yung previously learned knowledge natin or procedure ay naka-interfere sa performance natin sa new situation. Okay? O last item po tayo. Last item for number 80. A student learns a statistical procedure, very math major, no? Sorry, math major kasi ako. A student learns a statistical procedure and later uses it to analyze data in an unfamiliar research setting, no? So, may bago siyang procedure na natutuhan, ginamit niya sa isang unfamiliar research setting. Which type of transfer is most evident? Okay? Is it near transfer, negative transfer, zero transfer, far transfer? Ano po kaya to? So ang tawag po dito, ang sagot po natin is what we call a for transfer. Bakit? Ang for transfer po, nangyayari siya pag yung learner, ina-apply niya po yung previous niya na knowledge sa isang bago, unfamiliar, hindi siya related, no? New, unfamiliar, tsaka sobrang ibang context na, pero nagamit niya yung learning dati sa isang bagong learning context, sa ibang tawag dito, setting, no? So, uh, ang statistical procedure po na yun ay in-apply niya sa isang setting na hindi naman siya familiar, no? Pero nagamit niya yung learning na yun. Kaya ang tawag po doon for transfer. Alright? And yun na po muna tayo for tonight. Oh. Mayroon pa tayong 15 questions pero malay nyo soon, di ba? I-present ko siya sa inyo. But for tonight po, until number 80 lang po muna tayo. Thank you so much everyone for attending our live. Please make sure to tune in again tomorrow around the same time. Follow nyo lang po yung page para ma-notify po agad kayo kapag may live session po tayo. So tomorrow, meron po tayong live naman po for general education po. General education po tayo for tomorrow. Alright? So thank you so much everyone for attending and see you po tomorrow. Bye everyone!